Hello everybody, we are back for another day of factoring. Just to review from 2 days ago, remember when we factor, we are looking for numbers that multiply to this number and add to this number. So multiply to the end and add to the middle. We created a diamond and we said, okay, we want numbers that multiply to 30 and add to 13. In this case, I hope you remember that 10 plus 3 is 13, and 10 times 3 is 30. So then we would just write x plus 10. Again, this one goes in the first spot, and x plus 3, this one goes in the second spot. That should hopefully be a review. Now today we are more or less doing the exact same thing, but now we're going to add a negative number here or here. So what does that mean? Well, nothing really changes. I'm still looking for numbers that multiply to this one, multiply to negative 35. Now I want numbers that add to 2. So we got to think, well, first let's just ignore the negative in front of the 35. Let's just list out numbers that multiply to 35. Well, there's 1 and 35, and there is 7 and 5. I'm going to erase this 2 and make it look like an actual 2. Sorry about that. So now we want this to equal positive 2. And they got to multiply to be a negative. If they multiply to be a negative, it can be a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive. So I need one of these answers to be negative and one to be positive. Now we got to think, well, how can I make positive 2 by adding and subtracting? Well, we could do 7 minus 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. But now, when we do 7 minus 5 equals 2, which one of these is the negative? You should say, well, if I do 7 minus 5, that means I have a negative 5 and a positive 7. So nothing changes now. It's still m minus 5. The negative 5 went right here. And then it is m plus 7. The positive 7 went right there. So again, nothing is changing. We're just adding in negatives in between now. Okay, let's try the next one. Y squared plus y minus 30. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to negative 30. We're looking for numbers that add to, what number is there? There's not a number there. Now remember, if there's no number, no coefficient attached to our variable, if there's no number in front of our letter, it's really a 1 right there. So we want them to add to 1 and multiply to negative 30. So again, let's start by ignoring the sign out front. Let's just list out numbers that multiply to 30. I have 1 and 30. I have 2 and 15. I have 6 and 5. And again, if I want to get this to be a negative 30, I need a positive times a negative times a negative, positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive. Okay, so which one of these can I get 1 by adding and subtracting? What I mean by that, well, 1 minus 30 gives me negative 29, so that doesn't work. 30 minus 1 gives me positive 29. That one doesn't work. Okay, let's go on to 2 and 15. Let's try 2 and 15 right here. 2 minus 15 is negative 13. That doesn't work. Let's try 15 and 2. 15 minus 2 is 13. That doesn't work. Let's try 6 and 5. Well, 6 minus 5 is 1. And hey, that's what we need right here. So 6 and negative 5. And we can put a plus here, a positive 6. That's okay. Doesn't really matter if you have it or not. We just know our final answer is going to be y plus 6 times y minus 5. And now, just so you are aware, you can write this as y minus 5 times y plus 6. These are the exact two things. It doesn't matter which one we write. Okay, if you want to pause the video and try the next one, you can. Otherwise, I will keep going in about 5 seconds. Okay, in this problem, we are looking for numbers that multiply to -12 and add to -4. So again, I want them to multiply to -12 and add to -4. So let's start out again by ignoring this negative sign. Just list out numbers that multiply to give me 12. So I have 1 and 12, I have 2 and 6, I have 3 and 4. Okay, and again, if I want them to multiply to get a negative, I need a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. Those are the only combinations of numbers that multiply to give you a negative. So let's start by 1 minus 12. Positive 1, negative 12. Well, that's negative 11. That does not equal -4. That doesn't work. Let's try 12 minus 1. 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 does not equal -4. That one doesn't work. Okay, let's try 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6 is -4. And hey, that's what we're trying to get. So we have 2, we have -6. And again, you can write it like this. -6 and 2, or positive 2, it doesn't matter. Just in the very end, you need x minus 6 and x plus 2. And again, you can write it like this as well. Either one is correct. I'll highlight them both when I'm done. So again, either yellow arrow or green arrow is correct. Either one of those is the correct answer. Okay, I think, yep, last one for today. So again, we are looking for numbers now that multiply to the last one. Our last one is -24. Multiply to that and add to my middle term. So I want numbers that multiply to -24, and that add, my highlighter, and add to -10. So let's start by listing out numbers that multiply to -24, or just 24. 1, 24. 2, 12. 3 and 8. 4 and 6. And that is it. So we're trying to get -10. So I hope you're starting to kind of see a pattern here and say, hey, well, I just need these numbers to be different by 10. 1 and 24, those are way too far apart. 4 and 6, those are way too close together. So it's probably going to be one of these. So which one is it? Well, which one is different by 10? 2 and 12 or 3 and 8? Well, you should hopefully think, well, 2 and 12, that's pretty easy. Those are different by 10. So we're going to do 2 minus 12 is -10. So we can write it as 2, -12. 2 minus 12 is -10. Or again, you can write it like -12 and 2. So then how do you write your final answer? B minus 12. This just comes down. And B plus 2. That one comes down right there. Okay, that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.